everybody. My name is Sarah, and this is my channel, Sarah Likes to Read. Today, we're going to take a look at all the books that I plan to read for February, and buckle in because it is a lot. For whatever reason, I am under the delusion that I am going to be able to read over 20 books in the shortest month of the year. Yes, I know, I did say over 20. But whatever I don't get to this month, I'm just going to carry over into March. And so, let's take a look at everything that I have in store. So, before we start, I do want to just point out that we have been snowed in. I live in the South, and anytime there is any kind of winter weather, everything shuts down. But this year, it has been quite a doozy. We got a lot of sleet, so all the snow that we got kind of got crusted with a layer of ice, and I have not been able to leave the house in a week now. Schools have been closed for the whole week, and now they're even talking about the possibility of maybe even Monday being closed, but we shall see what the weekend holds. However, it's not supposed to get over freezing, so I'm not really sure what is going to happen. But all that to say that if you hear my son, he is playing video games right now in his room, and sometimes he does get quite vocal with that. Hopefully, using the microphone, it doesn't pick up. But if you do hear yelling, that's all that it is. And also, since it is so cold, my heater's been running practically nonstop for the past week, and it's loud. So hopefully, the mic doesn't pick that up. But just in case, that's what it is. But I'm not turning the heat off because, like I said, it's cold. I'm not turning off the heat. So let's get into what I plan to read for February. And I've got my notes here because it's a lot. And I'm going to start with I'm going to start by going over like the different challenges that I'm participating in this year. Two of them being my own personal challenges with books that I want to read down off of my physical TBR. I chose 26 special edition like book box books for my 26 and 26, and then I also am the rest of my special editions I have like on a separate spreadsheet or a spinner wheel. That is how I've been choosing my books this year, kind of making it more random and more fun. So we're going to take a look at what I spun for those two challenges, and then we will talk about some more like year-long challenges hosted by other members in the booktube community. So for my 26 and 26, I for February I am reading The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Long or Leong. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, so if I said it incorrectly, I'm so sorry. This is a cozy fantasy book that I got from Owl Crate a couple years ago. I don't know a whole lot about it except for the fact that it is cozy, and it has found family, and it says that it's perfect for readers of Travis Baldree and Sangu Mandana, both authors I have read from and enjoyed from before. Says Tao, an immigrant fortune teller traveling between villages with just her trusty mule for company, she only tells small fortunes, whether it will hail next week, which boy the barmaid will kiss, when the cow will calf. She knows from bitter experience that big fortunes come with big consequences. Even if it's a lonely life, it's better than the one she left behind. But a small fortune unexpectedly becomes something more when a semi-reformed thief and an ex-mercenary recruit her into their desperate search for a lost child. Soon they're joined by a baker with a need for adventure and, of course, a slightly magical cat. Tao sets down a new path with companions as big-hearted as her fortunes are small. But as she lowers her walls, the shadows of her past close in, and she'll have to decide whether to risk everything to preserve the family she never thought she could have. So this has found family, which I love. So I'm excited to get to this one this month. And then for my spinner wheel for the rest of my special editions to try to read through them because it's getting to be quite ridiculous as to how many unread special editions I own. I will be reading Cruel is the Light, which is by Sophie Clark. This one I got from Fairy Loot last year. It says, Epic is their love, endless is their power. A brutal war between demons and humanity was raged across Europe for over a century. At its heart are two elite soldiers, Celine Aleva, a powerful exorcist trained at the prestigious Vatican Academy, and foot soldier Jules Lacroix, unrivaled in battle. When their paths cross despite initial distrust, then unwelcome attraction, Jules and Celine discover a terrible secret at the heart of the Holy Vatican City. Soon, Jules is forced to question everything he's ever known, including himself. And Celine, unable to ignore her growing feelings for Jules, must make an impossible choice between love and duty. And I'm not sure which box this either came from the I'm looking at the end papers and it looks like it might be young adult. But she is a little bit on the chunky side. So, like I said, if I don't get to it this month, I'm just going to carry it over with me into March. So it's fine. So next up, I am participating in quite a few bingo challenges for this year, and all of those announcement videos I will have linked in my description. But I do want to just point out that some of these bingo challenges did start in 2025 and are carrying over into part of 2026. For me personally, I am a start on January 1st, end on December 31st kind of girly. So if it is one that started in 2025, I didn't start it until last month, and I'm going to use those same prompts through the end of 2020 end of 2026, especially like with the R fantasy. I know that that one starts pretty early, I think like in April, but I'm going to just use the 2025 prompts for all of 2026 because it's just less confusing for me keeping up, like, instead of, having to start a challenge in the middle of the year. So, first up, I do have the horror bingo, which is hosted by Wicked Reading. Um, I decided to participate in this challenge, in this bingo challenge, because I am trying to push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit with my reading this year and picking up genres that I don't tend to pick up, such as horror, or have not really picked up in a while, like mystery and historical fiction. And so last month I, had a lot of fun with the books that I picked last month. And I anticipate, really enjoying pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I got an alert on my phone that distracted me. So for the oh, yep, that's what it was. I will be out of school on Monday. So, keep me in your thoughts and prayers. I have not, like I said, I've not left the house in over a week now. And so, the stir craziness is starting to push in. So yay for that. Okay, so as I was saying, for the horror bingo, I did spin the indie or self-published prompt, and so I for this challenge I am depending a lot on Storygraph, the Storygraph challenge for this bingo because like I said, I don't read a lot of horror. It's not a genre that I typically sit comfortably with, but like I said, I'm trying to push myself a little bit. And so I was just kind of scrolling through books that other people have chosen, and this one popped up. I feel like it's kind of stretching it a little bit, which I'm fine with, because this book used to be indie published, but now I believe it is traditionally published, and it is a fantasy romance, but it does have horror elements to it. And that is Anathema by Carrie Lake. I got this book through Allurial. So this is the Allurial edition with the sprayed edges. And it says, Only the banished know what lies beyond the woods. You see the dead girl, but have you ever stared death in the face yourself? There are whispers about that what lurks in Witchnell, the forest where sinners go to die. The villagers call it the Eating Woods because what's taken is never given back. Only those who've lost their senses would dare to go near it, or the banished. Mavis Bronwick knows better than to breach the misty labyrinth of trees, but a tragic turn of events compels her beyond the archway of bones to a boundary no mortal has crossed before, one that cloaks a dark and fantastical world that's as dangerous as it is alluring. It's there that he dwells, the cursed lord of Eidolon. I don't know if I'm saying that right. The one tasked to keep her hidden from the magehood that seeks to crucify her in the name of an arcane prophecy. Um, Zavander Rydane, known to his prey as the Scorpion, is the coldest, most calculated assassin in all of Etheria. Mavid's blood is the key to breaking this despised curse and vanquishing the submerging evil in Witchnell. Unfortunately for Lord Rydane, fate has other plans for the irresistible little enchantress, and his growing obsession with her threatens to destroy everything, including himself. My friend Rainey read this book and really enjoyed it, so I am really excited to get to it. But it is another chunky book that I'm adding to my ginormous TBR, but it's fine. Like I said, it's fine. Next up, we have the mystery thriller bingo, which is hosted by oh gosh, I'm so sorry, I cannot think of who it is hosted by, but I will have it linked below, and in editing I will post the person's name, the YouTuber's name underneath uh at the bottom. But anyway, so for that one I spun the podcast prompt, and so for this one I am reading None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I'm getting this book from the library, so I'm going to post a picture of that right here. And I don't know a whole lot about this one except for the fact that it is one of our main characters is a true crime podcaster who meets somebody. They share the same birthday, so they're birthday twins, and they get to know each other. And this other person kind of like inserts herself into our podcaster's life. And a lot of things unravel. And next thing we know, the podcaster is now like the focus of her true crime podcast. I don't know a whole lot about it. I've enjoyed books by Lisa Jewell in the past, so I'm excited to get to this one. Next up, we have the let's see, our fantasy bingo. Like I said, this one I'm just going to use the 2025 prompts for all of 2026. And for this month, I did spin the impossible places prompt. And so I'm using this as the perfect excuse to finally give oh my goodness, Crawler Carl. That is a tongue twister. Dungeon Crawler Carl a go, see what the hype is all about. I'm excited for it. It is a lit RPG book, which I've never tried that type of book before, so I'm excited to see what that's all about. But in this, our main character Carl like chases his cat outside, and when that when he does that, like all of the buildings collapse into and kills or unalives everybody. And he finds himself like thrown into a like video game for survival. I'm not really too sure of any more than that, but I've seen it pop up everywhere. And so now it's time for me to find out what the hype is all about, and I'll be getting that one from Kindle Unlimited. Next up, we have the Romanceopoly, which is hosted by Under the Covers book blog. She set this challenge up like a university, so you have to like do the 5 like main prompts, which are like generic romance prompts, and then you choose like 2, like a major and a minor like subcategory of romance, which I thought was really neat. And so of course I will link her announcement because I want to give credit where credit is due. For me personally, I chose to put that all that into a bingo board. And so what I did was I chose the 5 generic prompts and then picked 4 other categories. Trying to think, yeah, 4 other categories out of the different subgenre uh like that she had available. So I chose dark romance, contemporary romance, historical romance, and paranormal romance because I don't, aside from like contemporary romance, I don't tend to, pick up those other, but I want to, you know, to start diversifying my reading. And so for this month, I did spin historical fiction. And the prompt was that the main character had to be a wallflower, a blue stocking, or rebellious. And first, I had to look up what blue stocking meant because I had never heard that term before. And basically, it is an intelligent, like academic woman. And so again, I looked through Storygraph to see what books that other people had chosen for that prompt, and I decided to go with The Ornithologist's Guide to Love. And uh, Here is what that book looks like. It is a historical romance with a touch of like fantasy in it, like some magical elements to it. And the reason why I picked this book, why it kind of jumped out to me, is because it reminded me a lot of the book, The Natural History of Dragons, and a little bit of Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Kind of screamed those vibes. I enjoyed both of those books. And so I'm hoping that I enjoyed this one as well. I am getting this book from my library. Next up, we have the Romantasy Bingo, which is hosted by Covers with Cassidy, and for that, I spun what did I spin? Forbidden Romance, and so for that, I chose Rebel Witch, which is the second book in the Crimson Moth duology. This is by Kristen Ciccarelli, and which I'm excited. I'll be getting to finish out a series with this book, with this pick. And this is a romance between a witch and a witch hunter. Witches are forbidden in this world, and I had a good time with it, so I'm excited to get to this one. Let's see, for the series Takedown 2.0, hosted by Rainy from Rainy Blue Reads, I spun the prompt for a binge series. So I have to read 2 or more books from a series to complete this prompt. So what I plan to do is to read 1 book in February and then carry the second book into March. And for that series, I chose the Bone Season series, and I am currently on the 3rd book in the series, The Song Rising. This is by Samantha Shannon. I really enjoyed the first 2 books in this series. This one is actually smaller than the first 2 books, so I'm not really sure why it's shorter. That's unusual to me, but I'm really enjoying the series. I like it. Centers around clairvoyant magic, and in this, it's set in the future, in London, and it clairvoyants are illegal in this society, and there is a like revolution is starting to unfold to overthrow the government governing system that makes the clairvoyants have to live in hiding. And so I'm excited to get to continue on with the series. And so I'll read The Song Rising this month, and then the book 4, which is something to do with the mask. Let me see. Does it have the name of the 4th book? The Mask Falling, next month in March. And then that prompt will be complete. Let's see. I'm checking my notes to make sure I haven't skipped over any of my bingo challenges. My next 2 books that I have to talk about for year-long challenges are the Buzzword Challenge books that I'm going to read for February. This is hosted by Books and Lala. I've done this challenge for quite a few years and really I have a really good time doing it. Last year, she introduced a second challenge, which was Buzz Cover. And so I did both last year, and I plan to do both this year. For the buzzword for February, it is keyboard keys. So, like any word that is also a key on the keyboard counts. And so, for that one, I am choosing the sacred space between with the word space for the space bar. This is by Kaylee Reed. This is another Allurial book that I picked up. And I don't know a whole lot about this one except for that it is she is an iconographer, and the male main character is, I guess, like an exiled saint, and she is sent to create or restore an icon about him. I don't know a lot of the magic system except for that it says it is memory magic. So I am curious to read this one and see what this one is all about. And for the Buzz cover for February, it was silhouette. So it had to have a silhouette on the cover. And so for this one, I am reading The Taurus Season by Bryn Weaver. This is the first book in the Seasons of Carnage. And you can see that our characters are set in shadow, and like the buildings are set in shadow. This is this trilogy is going to follow this same couple throughout the whole series or trilogy, which is fun. I read 2 out of the 3 of her first series, Ruinous Love with the Kane brothers, and I've enjoyed both of those books so far. So I know that I'm going to enjoy this one. She is a serial unaliver. She lives in a small, like, touristy beach town and will unalive people who, tourists who come and cause trouble for her small town. And I believe he is a tourist, and maybe he is also a serial unaliver. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that with Bryn Weaver being the author, I'm going to have a good time with this. All right, so that's all of my challenges. So I'm going to just briefly talk about my like book club and read-alongs that I'm wanting to do for February. My own book club that I run with a lot of the ladies that I work with at school. We have a book club, and we are reading My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. I don't know a lot about this, but I'm really excited because I love Alice Feeney. I've enjoyed everything of hers that I've read. So we will be reading that. For the Tortured Readers Book Club, which is hosted by Katie with I Would Rather Be Reading and Rainy from Rainy Blue Reads, we are reading Ravenminder, um, which I've never heard of before. I don't know anything about it, so I'm excited to, jump in with that. I've enjoyed just about everything that we've read with that book club, so I trust Rainey and Katie with this pick. Um, I'm reading Our Vicious Oaths for Hose for Prose, which is hosted by Vanessa with Read with Dr. B and Bree from the Book Drover. I'm so sorry if I said that wrong. But like I said, we're reading Our Vicious Oaths. I've seen this one pop up in the past few months. I know it was an Allurial pick a few months ago, but I didn't pick that one. And now I kind of wish that I had, but I'm reading it through Kindle Unlimited. And I don't know anything about that book as well. A lot of times with book club books, I just kind of just trust the process and kind of go into those books blind, which I have no problem with. Um, for Kiss and Tell Book Club, which is hosted by Katie and Vanessa, we are reading My Funny Demon Valentine. Now, this one I do know it is centers around a demon from the underworld who wants to be a jazz musician, and so he comes to our world and to realize his dreams. That's about all I know about that one. I'm excited to read that one. Um, and let's see, for Katie's channel read along or buddy read this month, we're reading It's Not Her by Mary Kubica. I'm excited for this one. I don't know, or no, I do know a little bit about this one. This one is like a family vacation that goes wrong. And it's like they go to a like lake house, like 2 families, like maybe their sisters and their families or something. I'm not 100% sure, but they go on a family vacation together at this lake, and they wake up one morning and people are no longer with us. So I'm excited for that. I do enjoy Mary Kubica. For Rainey's Patreon, we do 2 different buddy reads. We do a series read along, and so we are starting the series I don't know what the name of the series is, but it starts with The Curse of Ophelia by Nicole Platania. Now, this is a reread. This is our January and February pick. I didn't get to it in January, so we're going to see if we can get to it in February. This is a reread if I do get to it. So I'm not, this is like bottom of the priority list because I did read this with Rainey over the summer to get us ready for Villains and Vixens. We got to meet Nicole and get our books signed. So I'm excited to continue on with the series. But like I said, this one's at the bottom because I've read this already. It's okay if I don't get to it because I kind of remember what happened. And then in March and April, we'll pick up book 2. And then for her other read along, and this one is not series um related, like we can pick books in a series, but we don't like binge the whole series. And for January and February, the pick was Empire of Flame and Thorns by Marion Blackwood. I don't know a whole lot about this one. I've seen it pop up here and there on other booktube channels that I watch. I know it has dragons, and that's all I really need to know. And then finally, I've got 2 buddy reads that I've already set up with friends. If other buddy reads should happen to pop up through February, it's fine. I love to buddy read. And so I'm going to be reading To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast with Katie from I Would Rather Be Reading. I'm excited to get to this book. This is a Fairy Loot Romantasy edition. It's a dystopian romance, which I'm finding that I do enjoy this genre. So I'm excited to get to that with Katie. And then I am also buddy rereading with a friend from school with my friend Kelly. We decided that we wanted to reread Throne of Glass series. We read Assassin's Blade in January, so we're going to be reading Throne of Glass in February. And we decided we're going to take the whole month to read this book. So this one again is kind of like at the bottom of my priority, but it's like, I'll listen to it on the drive to school in the mornings, if I ever get to go back to school. um, I say jokingly, but also a little bit, what teacher says, oh, I can't wait to go back to school? This teacher, because I'm ready to get out of the house. And I don't ever say that because I am a homebody, but I'm done. I'm ready to get out. But if you don't know what Throne of Glass is about, it centers around our main character, Selena Sardathian. At the start of this book, we find her after 1 year of being put into the Endovier salt mines as a slave. She is taken out of this work camp to participate in a contest to become the king's champion. She is a trained assassin. And so, it has challenges in it. I love this series with my whole chest. So I'm really happy to be diving back in. This is actually my 4th read of this series. So like I said, I love this series with all of my heart, and I'm so excited to be getting back to it. But those are 20 books that I hope to get to. But wait, I'm not done because it is the month of February. Valentine's Day, my birthday, is in February. And so I do have a few more books that I want to uh, put on my TBR, but I'm not stressing about these because they are short stories. And that is the Improbable Meet Cute Second Chances series. It is 6 short stories that I want to get to. So, like on a weekend morning, I can just read it, or while I take Matthew to his dance class on Mondays, I can, read these real quickly. But it has some of my favorite authors and authors that I'm also, have books on my TBR, but I haven't read from before. So I am excited to get to those as well in February. Like I said, those are all short stories, so I can knock those out without a problem. But let's see if I can hold up. Oh my goodness, these are just the ones that I own, not to mention all the ones that I'm getting from Kindle Unlimited and from the library. But I'm going to set you down. Let's see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all of them in, but oh my goodness. Here are some of the books that I hope to get to in February. Um, and there they all go. Oh dear. Um, but like I said, if I don't get to them in February, I'm just most likely going to carry them over with me into March. I have spring break in March, so I'll have a whole week where I will, have no plans other than reading. So it's not a reason to panic just yet. So thank you so much for watching, for, believing in me that I can read all of these books in the shortest month of the year. But if you made it to the end of this video, let's see. I'm trying to, well, go on, and if there is a castle emoji, because I am looking at the glass castle from the cover of my beautiful acrylics edition of Throne of Glass, to let me know that you were here if you don't have anything else to say. If you do feel like chatting in the comments, let me know what book you are most excited for the month of February. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.